Okay guys, welcome to Joe's Foot Flash Rounds. These are 2 to 3 minute videos where we cover key topics in crypto. I suggest you pause the video several times because we covered a lot of information. So today we're going to talk about how we can assess if a project is rug proof or not. First off, there's no such thing as a risk-free project. Every time you do anything, there's some risk. That's just life. We have to deal with it. With that said, there's a few things we can do. Contract ownership. Whoever has contract ownership can make changes. If contract ownership is still maintained, you have your confidence in the dev team, so be wary of that. A lot of projects require the team to maintain ownership, others do not. Reflect tokens is a good example of things that can be contract renounced, and they should be. Swaps and like cake and such do need ownership, but be sure to ask the devs what kind of time walk and safety procedures are in place. Hold them accountable. Second, liquidity pool contract. If you're trading a token, you want to make sure that the liquidity for it is locked or at least sufficient. And if it's locked, it should be in something like the burn address, or there should be a locked transfer transaction. We'll get to this in more detail. Developer wallet. No projects will have more than 5% of all tokens in the hands of the developers. If they have more than 5%, they need to explain it, or it needs to be locked or vested in some ways. There should be some safety mechanism to prevent them from dumping. Ask these questions in the chat. Ask them for accountability. A good project will never have more than 5% in the hands of the developers. And ensure that the token has adequate liquidity. Anything that has below 2% liquidity of market cap is a mirage. It's a pump and dump. You will not be able to exit at a profit. If you buy into that token, when you sell, you're going to cause such a big price impact, you're not going to exit at a profit. 80% of people will lose money in such a scenario. So first off, contract ownership. How do I check? BSC scan, one of the best tools you'll ever see. Go over there, find the token, click on read contract, find the owner field. You see a bunch of zeros? Awesome. The owner has been renounced. If you see something else different, means someone owns this contract. They can make changes. They are essentially God when it comes to this token. So you're putting your trust in the dev team. Liquidity lock. How do I check? This is a little bit more complicated. BSC scan. Find the token you want. Click on the holders. One of the biggest holders should be an address that has a paper icon next to it. This means it's a contract. Click on it and then click on the token holder. This is a little bit more complicated, but once you get there, you should see something like this. This is the Pancake LP, because most projects use the Pancake liquidity pool. This is the liquidity pool for the token you just went to. Click on it. Now, these are the holders. This, by the way, is the Yummy project. See how the burn address owns 87% of liquidity? This means this liquidity is not going to go anywhere. It's locked forever. The remaining 12% is in the lock transfer that it's locked for 10 years. So for this particular project, which is Yummy, 99% of liquidity is locked for at least 10 years and 87% is locked forever. You will always be able to buy and sell with no problems on this particular project. If the devs have a lot of liquidity in another address that's not the burn address and they claim it's locked, ask to see the transaction. They should have used something like this, that when you click on the details of the transaction, you have a function that locks tokens or did something similar. So ask for accountability on this. Don't just take their word for it. Developer wallet dumps. More complicated, requires more detective work. You need to go to the transaction that created the contract and you need to follow the transfers that were done for that wallet. Be wary of any wallet that transferred thousands of things to thousands of different wallets, because the devs might try to spread the funds around to pretend that they don't control all those small wallets, but in reality they do. If you can't explain a single transaction or massive transaction going to something else, assume the devs own the wallet that received it. If they can't explain why they did it, they own those funds. Ask for accountability, ask for a lot of questions to prevent developer dumps. Ensure the liquidity is enough to exit. This is a very common misconception. A pump and dump is something that relies on the people who bought at the beginning pumping the price in very low liquidity, which gives the illusion of insane gains. In reality, it's all a mirage. You want a project that has about 5% to market cap, meaning if the project market cap is 10 million, you want to have a liquidity that's in the minimum 500,000. A pump and dump requires low liquidity. Anything less than 2% is most likely to be a pump and dump. And finally, ensure the liquidity is locked. Here's a project with good liquidity, about 5%. Here's a project with excellent liquidity, 9%. Here's a guaranteed pump and dump. 99% of people who invest in this project will lose money. Conclusions: nothing is 100% safe. Putting your trust in developers is risky. Trust people, not contracts. Verify everything. Ask questions. And if you invest in swaps and such, ask about time lock functions, so they can't renounce contract, but they'll have other safety features. That's it for me, guys. Joe Foot, Flash Round. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care.